Hi, this is Eric Jansen, and welcome to my channel where I discuss topics related to real estate. So today's topic is about buying a home, or more specifically, buying a home in a seller's market. So let me share my screen with you here and go through this presentation about buying a home. So fancy little home there. So first off, buying a home. I want to go over today what it takes to buy a home, the buying process, and how I can help you through that. So what it takes, the biggest thing I feel it takes to buy a home is the desire to own a home. If you don't have the desire to own a home, you're really not going to be able to get one. But if you do have the desire, no matter what obstacles are in your way, you always pretty much have a chance to be able to get a home. Now, there are those rare circumstances where it's nearly impossible, but for the most part, if you have the desire and you're willing to do the steps necessary, you can get into a home. So what are those things that it takes to get into one? Well, credit score of at least 580 or plus. Now, this is kind of a minimum entry level, getting an FHA loan and getting into being able to qualify. Obviously, the higher credit score, the better. But in order to at least get your foot in the door, you need a 580, and that's a FICO score. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but 580 is what you're looking for. You're going to want low debt payments. So your monthly debt payments, any car payments, credit cards, student loans, you want to know what those debt payments are. And typically what you're going to do is you're going to be adding your mortgage payment into that. And you need to be at least 50% debt payments to your gross monthly household income. So 50% is kind of on the high end. You want to probably be more in the 40s, and that includes your mortgage again. And the last thing is obviously you're going to need some cash. Now, there's ways in which you can get into a house for little cash, but you're still going to need some, especially in this market. So what are you going to need the cash for? Well, the first thing obviously is you need a down payment. 3.5% of the purchase price is what's required for an FHA loan. So basically, if you're looking at buying a $200,000 home, you're going to need $7,000 for down payment for that. Or you could pay as little as $1,000 or potentially less if you qualify for Minnesota Housing Assistance. And this is a down payment program. So if you qualify for that, typically you need a little bit higher credit score, and there's some other factors in that. But if you can qualify for Minnesota Housing Assistance, you could get in for a little bit cheaper. The other thing you're going to need money for is closing costs. Figure you're going to need at least a minimum of 3% of the purchase price for closing costs, maybe a little bit more. Figuring on a $200,000 house, you need about $6,000, $7,000, kind of in that range for closing costs. Closing costs can vary all the way pretty much up to closing it, depending on a lot of different factors. And then some other things you're going to want to keep in mind they're going to need money for is inspections and appraisals. So when you get a house under contract, and I'll go into more what that means, but when you get a house and you have it under contract, you're usually going to want to do an inspection. You're going to have to pay that inspector to do that inspection. It can be $500, $600. And then once you have the property under contract, your lender is going to want to have an appraisal done to make sure and verify the actual value of the home in order for them to lend you the amount for it. So that's typically $500 to $600 as well. So a couple things to keep in mind there as far as money needed. One thing that's not mentioned in here that will be needed as well, but it's part of your either your down payment or your closing costs, is you're going to need something called earnest money. Earnest money is just basically your collateral to hold the property and, so to speak, for you to be able to purchase it. So once you're looking at a house and you find a house you want to buy, you'd bring that earnest money forward, and that would basically hold the property. Would come off the potential price that you offered in the end, but it's to hold the property. You will need that up front. So that's kind of what it takes. Now I want to go through what the buying process is, and this is kind of high level, looking at the whole thing, and not a lot of detail here, but I want to go through so you understand kind of what it takes to go from start to finish to buy a house. So the first thing in the buying process is pre-approval. Now that's what I was talking about with the 580 score. Obviously, the higher, the lower interest rate you're going to have, but getting that pre-approval is critical on how much debt you have, what your income is, and what your credit score is. So a pre-approval from a lender, you get a letter basically saying you're pre-approved for a certain amount, and that gives you the ability to be able to buy. Can't really make any offers in today's market without a pre-approval. If you don't have a pre-approval, your offer isn't even considered. Then from there, you go through and do a property search. That's when you work with a real estate agent like myself. You go through and you do a property search setup through the multiple listing services, MLS, or also offline, off-market type of searches, and I'll explain that as well in a little bit in this video. So property search is set up for you, so you start to see, and this is based on the criteria of what you're looking for. You might different areas, how many bedroom bathrooms you're looking for, and whether or not you want a fenced-in yard, and things like that can be factors. And some of it you can narrow down, some of it you can't during the search. So some of the search you're going to have to kind of look through, but for the most part, most of it can be narrowed down to what your specific needs are, what your needs are, not necessarily maybe what your wants, but your needs. Viewing properties is next. That's where you go with the real estate agent like myself and you view the property, you do a showing. You go set foot in the property. Obviously, with COVID going on right now, there's different ways to do that. But you could do it virtually if you're not comfortable. But typically what you do is you go view the property and you walk through the property. Once you find one that you like, you make an offer. You have contracts that you have to fill out. And this is where that, well, no, not actually, this is where the earnest money comes in. That's the next step. Sorry to get ahead. You make the offer and it's based on other factors, but you got paperwork to fill out for that offer, and that's submitted to then the seller's agent, which is called the listing agent. If they like the offer and they want to move forward, the offer is accepted. All the paperwork gets signed, and then you have 48 hours to bring forward that earnest money that I was talking about. Typically, you want to have at least $1,000, I say, for earnest money, but you know, the more the better as far as the offer goes for the seller. Sometimes it's not as big of a deal to the seller, but other times they'd like to see a little bit more upfront for that. Next thing is home inspection. You don't have to have a home inspection done on the property, but it is highly recommended. Basically, what's going to happen is once everybody signed the documents, you get usually what's called inspection period. It's a contingency on the house. You get so many days to be able to have your inspection done for that contingency. So basically what happens is, let's say you did a 10-day inspection contingency period. That means you have 10 days to get a home inspection done, and you can do it yourself, or you can hire somebody, or if a friend, you know, somebody that knows a lot about houses, you can do that too. Most of the time you're hiring a professional home inspector who comes through the house, kind of goes through from top to bottom, everything about the house, the roof, the furnace, the plumbing, the electrical, all those different things, and gives you basically an assessment of what condition the house is in, what things may need to be replaced soon, and what things are okay, and you know, kind of things you need to watch out for as you potentially own the home. In this period, if you find something that you don't like, or something that's, you know, find out the roof needs to be repaired, that's where we can go back to potentially renegotiate with the seller on that. In the seller's market we're in right now, it's a little bit harder, but still possible to go back and talk about different items that you didn't see when you were looking at it in the viewing of the property. So once everything's good and you get past the inspection period, now we get kind of more into the lender and the closing side of it. The next part would be the appraisal. The appraiser comes out, looks at the property, compares it to other properties that have sold that are similar to it, and determines a value. Based on that value, they typically will say, okay, you offered, let's say, 200,000, and they say, yes, it's worth 200,000. Now the loan moves forward. If it appraises for less than that amount, then there is an option where you're going back to the seller saying it only appraised for 190, and there's a little bit of a potential negotiation there where the seller can take that price or maybe ask for you to make up the difference. Typically what the seller does is ask you to take the price, or willing to take the price, because they don't want to have to go back to the market. But that's where the appraisal comes in, just to make sure that you don't overpay on the house, and make sure that the lender is comfortable with what you made an offer on. Then once that's done and all your paperwork is done, and you've gone through underwriting, we'll get what's called a clear to close. Basically, your loan is approved, everything is good to go. Now we're just basically waiting for that closing date that was set once we made the offer, in order to close in the house and then exchange ownership. And then last thing is close, is where you fill out the rest of the paperwork with the title company, get the keys. before the closing, we do what's called a final walkthrough on the property, where we actually go through and make sure the property is what it was when you looked at it. Make sure there's no, surprises like floods or fires or somebody's living in there still. So we want to make sure we go through and make sure that everything is the same. And then we close, you get the keys, and now the property is yours. So last thing on here I want to talk about is how I can help you through this process. So if you got through the what it takes and you're like, I don't have what it takes, my credit score's not 580, I got a lot of things to work with there. I offer credits repair with Right Score Credit Repair. So you can go to my website at rightscorecreditrepair.com and check out the information on there. And if you want help with your credit report and getting that score up to where you can be able to buy a house, that's a great resource to be able to get you there. The next thing we offer is a great team. Now we talk about lenders, inspectors, closers. You can use whoever you want, but a lot of people don't have a lender, an inspector, a closer all sitting there ready to help them with their buying process. So I have great lenders, inspectors, title companies that can help you through the process, and they do a great job of getting everything taken care of and done right. Third thing on here is a Dream Finders program. Now, what is a Dream Finders program? Well, basically what happens is I invest my own money, marketing, and resources into target marketing to look for homeowners that are basically have what you want. So you're looking for a specific house in a specific neighborhood, and specific items that the house needs to have. What I will do is target market, spend money marketing to neighborhoods of houses that are not for sale right now in order to be able to get you into one of those properties. Now, the advantage to this is that there isn't other competition. Right now, it's a seller's market. There's low inventory, so not very many houses are for sale, and you got a lot of buyers that are looking to try to buy. So if houses are priced properly and there's nothing wrong with it, you're typically having multiple offers, 4, 5, 6, 7 offers on the same house. So you're competing with other people. Now I have strategies in order to be able to potentially win those multiple offers, but it still becomes a difficult game to play. With the Dream Finders Home Finders program, you don't have that. Basically, you're the only one making an offer on a house. So you have a distinct advantage there to be able to be the only one offering on that house that nobody else knows about. So it's a great advantage. And the last one is my guaranteed commitment. Basically, I'm committed to you. I actually have a document that I have you look at and fill out that shares my commitment with you as far as your buyer representation. So that's really it in a nutshell as far as buying a home in today's market, where right now it's very much of a seller's market with low inventory. So if you like this video, please share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. All right.